What's up, people, and welcome back to the channel. In this video today we're going to be going over ESO Dragonknight tank for Elsweyr. So let's go ahead. As you can see, I've got stat sheets here pulled up. We have 16 points into Magicka, 48 points into health. We have max Magicka is 20.9, maximum health is 33.1, maximum stamina is 26.6. Magic recovery is 1.2k. Then our resistances unbuffed is 27.8 and 24.3. The boon that we are running is the Atro, and we're using Tri-Stat Food. Now, champion points. We'll just go over the red and green because blue really doesn't matter. We have 23 points into Warlord, 14 into Sprinter, 19 into Bashing Focus. Wrong button. 64 into Tenacity, 64 into Arcanist, 20 into Tumbling, and 66 into Shadow Ward. Now, red, we have 28 into Ironclad, 22 into Spell Shield, 64 Hardy, 64 Elemental Defender, 25 Heavy Armor Focus, 27 Quick Recovery, and 40 Bastion. Now, like I said, the blue doesn't really matter as much. So when it comes to healing, just at least have 64 points into Blessed, so that way green's blood and stuff like that will be a little better, and then you can just spread these out to whatever you like. So, gear. The monster set that we are running is Stonekeeper. This comes from Frostwall? Yeah, from Vet Frostwall. It is an amazing setup. We're running a light helmet infused, medium shoulders sturdy, and these can be vice versa. You can run a medium helmet and light shoulders, just whichever one you choose. We're running both of them with Tri-Stat glyphs. Helmet is infused, like I said, shoulders sturdy. Now what this does is that one piece gives you max stamina, max Magicka, and max health. Now, two piece, when you block an attack, you gain an energy charge stack up to 1 stack per second. When you gain 6 charges, you release energy, restoring 5.3k stamina and Magicka, and healing for 6k. After releasing charges, you cannot gain new charges for 14 seconds. This is absolutely amazing. Like, this has definitely been one of my favorite sets to use, especially when it comes to tanking that AA. Hard mode, solo, it doesn't require, you're just constantly blocking, holding axes, holding the Astros, and the heals and stuff like that. You build up charges pretty quick, and it's definitely really nice, and it definitely helps with management. Now, this first 5-piece set that we are running is Alkosh. We're running 3 pieces of jewelry, sword, infused with a weakening enchant, infused shield with a a stamina. Due to the fact that we haven't been running last couple patches, most tanks don't tend to run sword and board anymore due to the changes to the enchant hands. You'll either run a lightning staff or ice staff in the back bar with a crusher enchant on it. So because of that, now I don't really run Tri-Stat glyphs on my shield anymore. I just use a stamina or a Magicka, or even a max health. It's whatever you choose. But due to the changes, because we're no longer double bar into sword and board, the stats just drop off anyway, so I don't really bother to waste a Tri-Stat glyph on it. So what Alkosh does is that it's going to give us a weapon crit, minor slayer, weapon damage, which isn't really necessarily important, but we're really using it for the 5-piece set. When you activate a synergy, you send a shockwave from your position. It does 2k physical damage and an additional 13.2k physical damage over 10 seconds, reducing the physical and spell resistance of any enemy hit by 3k for 10 seconds. This is just a nice way to kind of debuff the boss or mobs, whatever it may be. Now, the second 5-piece set we are running is the new set that comes from the new trial. It is, honestly, I don't even know if I can pronounce it, so I'm just going to refer to it as the Claw. So this set is fun. Like, I love it. We're running infused chest and legs, both with Tri-Stat glyphs, and then gloves, waist, and boots, all sturdy. Now, what this does, gives us max health, minor Aegis, and maximum stamina. Now, the 5-piece, when you taunt an enemy, you give yourself 11 group members minor courage for 15 seconds, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 129. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. So essentially, it's got a huge, it's 100% uptime more or less. because it's going to, the buff lasts for 15 seconds, but you can reapply it every 8 seconds. So there is really no downtime on this. This comes from the new trial. This is not the perfected one. I know most people might not be able to get the perfected one right off the bat, so I didn't want to show the perfected one. But the perfected one, it gives you, the 5-piece will give you additional max health as well. You get perfected just by doing vet. You don't have to do any pluses, so it's just straight vet. You'll get your perfected. You'll get the non-perfected on normal trials. So this is what your stats are pretty much going to look like with non-perfected. With perfected, you'll have around 35k health with perfected. So, skills. The first ability we're using is Puncture, Pierce Armor. Of course, it's your main taunt. You're going to deal some damage, but it also afflicts the enemy with Major Fracture and Major Breach, reducing their physical resistance and spell resistance by 5.2k for 12 seconds. This is our main taunt. We're going to just keep using this pretty consistently. You know, you want to reapply it about every 10 seconds or so. You just want to make sure you have that taunt in. Heroic Slash. Lunge an enemy attacking them, reducing their movement speed. You also afflict the enemy with Minor Maim, reducing their damage done by 15% for 12 seconds. You gain Minor Heroism, granting you 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 9 seconds. Now, with the changes to the Nord's passive, when you take damage, you gain 5 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. You're going to rebuild ultimate quickly, exponentially quickly. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. So, if you are pretty good with your sustain, you're pretty good at managing your resources, Nord is probably hands down the best tank. If you're still having trouble maintaining your resources, like you find yourself lacking at some, just keeping your pulls up, then I would either go Imperial or Argonian, because Imperial's got that nice reduced cost, and it provides, you know, you restore stamina, health, and magicka every 5 seconds or so. And then Argonians, of course, when you pop a potion, you're pretty much going to go back to full on everything. But anyways, so then we have Igneous Shield here. Call the earth down to your defense, granting a damage shield for nearby allies that absorbs 3.2k damage. Your own damage shield absorbs 8.2k damage. This portion of the ability scales off your max health. You also get Major Mend, increasing your healing done by 2.5 seconds for 3 seconds. So essentially, if you're sitting there getting whooped, you know, you're low in health, you just pop your Igneous Shield, and then you just greens blood, and you're pretty much just going right back up to full health. So, anyways, back to this. So, greens blood, draw on your Draconic Blood to heal for 37% of your missing health. You also gain Major Fortitude, Major Endurance, and Minor Vitality, increasing your health recovery and stamina recovery by 20% and healing receipt by 8% for 23 seconds. And this one, Absorb Magicka, bolsters your defense, absorbing up to 19.2k damage from the next spell projectile cast at you, healing for 16% of your max health. While you have a shield equipped and this ability slotted, the amount of damage you can block is increased by 8%. The cost of blocking is reduced by 8%. And we don't really use this a whole lot. There are a few instances where we can, like the Lord Warden, when he does his little railgun, you can pop this and you'll continuously heal from it. So, but if you're not careful, you can definitely burn your stamina doing that. Now, the ultimate that we're using here on our front bar is Replenishing Barrier. It's going to invoke defensive tactics to protect yourself and nearby allies with the wards that each absorb up to 25.6k damage. Each time a ward dissolves, you restore 6 ultimate and 317 magicka. Basically, this is, you can replace this with other ones. Like if you want a quick ultimate just to get back some of your resources, you can always go with a shield wall. Just morph it into which ability you prefer. Spell wall, you also reflect projectiles cast at you. This one, your one-hit and shield ability is caused to reduce while active. So you can just pick either one of those and go with that. If you don't have barrier, you can always go with Magma Shell. It's going to give them ignite the molten lava in your veins, limiting incoming damage to 3% of your max health and dealing flame damage to nearby enemies each second for 12 seconds. When activated, nearby allies gain a damage shield for 116% of their max health for 10 seconds. Now, the shield is not as high as the shield you're going to get here. So, plus, when the shield actually goes away, you're going to get ultimate and you're going to get magic back, which is why we use it. is for the most part, you're going to cast Warhorn unless, you know, you're in a rotation with a couple other people. But Falkreath, where there's the ads are coming out, Halls of Fabrication, when they're just damage is constantly incoming, this right here will allow you to get ultimate back relatively quickly, so you can cast another one, and it's going to give a bigger shield than Magnum Shell. So, abilities: Inner Rage, ignites fires of hate in an enemy's heart, dealing 2k magic damage and taunting them to attack you for 15 seconds. A ranged ally targeting the taunted enemy has a 38% chance to activate the Radiant Synergy, dealing 1.5k magic damage to them over 2 seconds, and then an additional 5.7k magic damage to them and other nearby enemies. This is more or less, it's going to provide some damage for the DPS, but it's mostly just a taunt. You know, to taunt a faraway enemy to get them to run to you, or you can taunt them and then chain them in so that way they don't run away. You know, this launch fire chain grasp pull an enemy to you, dealing 2.6k flame damage, grants major expedition, increasing movement speed by 30% for 4 seconds. If the target cannot be pulled, you restore 100% of the ability's cost of magicka. The attack cannot be dodged or reflected. Blockaded storms, slam your staff down through a storm barrier. Okay, the damage here is it's small. You're not really using this for the damage. You're using it just to proc, concuss, and set the enemy off balance for 5 seconds. This is going to give minor vulnerability, which is basically going to allow your DPS to do more damage for that time being. Choking Talons, call forth Talons, deal 3.3k magic damage to enemies near you, and mobilize them for 4 seconds. Enemy hit are afflicted with minor maim, reducing their damage done by 15% for 7 seconds. An ally near the Talons can activate the Ignite Synergy, dealing 5.8k magic damage to all enemies held within them. This is basically just our CC. If you're in a trial where you don't really need CC, you can switch it out for Inhale. You know, you can go either one of these morphs. You know, you can interrupt, or this one will restore magicka back for each enemy struck. I mean, if there's not a mag DK in the group, or the off tank is not a mag DK in it, you can always put Engulfing Flames there, so that way fire damage does more, because most of your DPS is going to be running dump and flame staff anyways. So this is kind of our flex bar, but for most 4-man content, I'm running Choking Talons. In trials, most of the time, I'm running Engulfing Flames, or I am running Shadow Silk, which is from the Undaunted passive here. The Shadow Silk. And this is basically just going to put down some spiders and allow the DPS to do some more damage. This is a crazy ability. It's not really good on DPS itself, but as the off tank or a healer, if they want to throw one down, one of the DPS can pop it, and it does crazy amounts of damage. So this is definitely your flex spot. But for most dungeons, this is a setup that I normally run. Hardened Armor, release your inner dragon to gain major resolve and major ward, increasing your physical resistance and spell resistance by 5.2k for 20 seconds. You gain a damage shield that absorbs up to 5.9k damage for 6 seconds. This portion of the ability scales off your max health. While active, armor returns 726 magic damage to any enemy that uses a direct damage against you. So, as you can see, our resistance is 24.5 and 21.1. So, once we activate our armor, push back, our resistances go up to 33 and 29.6. On the sword and board, 29.8 and 26.4 on the staff side. So, and then lastly, flip that back. Warhorn, sound a Warhorn to rally your force, increasing you and your allies' max magic and max damage by 10% for 30 seconds. You and your allies get major force, increasing your critical damage by 15% for 9 seconds. This is, it's Warhorn. It is what it is. It increases crit damage, increases max magicka, max stamina, increasing damage. It's nice to have on a tank and a healer. So, it's Warhorn. I really don't know how else to explain it. Now, you can be a vampire as well, and you'll increase your magic recovery by 10% or so. But being the PTS, I was not able to become a vampire. So, these sets, if you don't have access to the set and want to run something else here instead, you can always stick with Evan. There's Imperium as well. There are tons of other sets that you could potentially run. We can just go with the trial sets. When it comes to it, you have Gallon Ways, which will, you know, while you're blocking, you're granting power to 3 allies, which is okay. Like I said, you know, you get more max health when it's perfected. All you gotta do to get perfected is to clear a vet. Clear vet, that's it. You don't have to do anything else. If you don't have Stonekeeper, if you can't get through Vet Frostfall, Lord Warden is a good placement. If you want something that heals you, Sentinel, Bogdan, all of them would do pretty good for you. Which of course, I guess why I have the sets here. Now Sentinel comes from Dark Shades, and you know, that's healing. Then when you heal yourself or an ally, you have a 10% chance to Door Spire. It heals you and restores stamina to you and your allies within 5 meters every 1 second for 8 seconds. So this is really good for you by yourself, because 5 meters is not a very high thing. If you don't really feel like running a monster set, you feel like you need more magic recovery, you can run like 1 piece Shadowrend, 1 piece Chokethorn for that extra magic recovery. Both 1 pieces give you magic recovery. So if you want a shield, you can always go with Ice Heart, gives you a damage shield, and it, you know, deals some frost damage. Or if you like casting shield a lot, you can always go Infernal Guardian if you just like to lob flaming mortars. I mean, whatever suits you. But for trials, things like that, Stonekeeper, Lord Warden, Sentinel, Blood Spawn, those would be my choices. So, but yes, that is the Stamina DK for the Elsweyr patch. That is a tank that I will be running. So, and until next time, y'all have a great day.